What about now, bro? Can you hear me okay? Testing, testing. All right, appreciate that. Can you see the chart? All right, cool. So clearly, US 30 is a great sell right now, and we're already in it. And we talked about this in our live session or our training session, the morning star. Now we have a evening star right at our level of resistance. So we saw what the morning star did to, I believe that was like NAS that we were looking at. But now we're going to see what the evening star does. And again, that should give us a nice drop on US 30. All right. No news today, so nothing to really set things off, but that's not always a bad thing. All right. So far, US 30 is, again, a great opportunity for a sell right now. So is NAS, right? But for NAS, I would prefer it to go up a little more to the supply level before we drop, right? And SPY looks picture perfect. Okay. And again, good morning, everyone who's joining. Pretty much just getting started, but definitely looking, or I'm already in SPY and US 30. All right, guys. So if you're joining, those would be two of the plays you want to look at getting into selling opportunities for, right? If you like what you see, okay? I like what I see, therefore, I'm in sales on both of those, all right? I'm going to take a look at the dollar. I've been expecting it to rise, and so far, so good, all right? Still respecting demand. Looks like we got a bit of a sweep of these previous lows, getting a little deeper into demand, and that is a good thing. Now, I'm just hoping it does not want to go and sweep this liquidity before it begins to rise, all right? But again, like I said, so far it's respecting demand, and we could just see it further push up from this point here. Okay, and we got JPY again at a demand level, but I still expect this to fall a little further, sweep liquidity, tap into demand, and then take off. All right, guys. Odd dollar. This looks great for a sell opportunity right now. This was exactly in my weekly watch list posted yesterday for the sell opportunity. So we're going to be looking into getting to this play because it is picture perfect for what we need. All right. Just a quick look at the others. And when I say the others, I really mean the major pairs. Every pair that has the dollar in it that are in the majors, which is again, just 7 pairs, all right? So here's, this was EU, all right? And this looks, pretty good. Like I said, I did want it to push up further, and it did do that. So we may very well get that drop right now on EU, all right? But here is GU, and it looks really good also, right? If we are in a consolidated area, guys, it's great to sell from the top and buy from the bottom, right? So we are at the top, excuse me. So obviously we want to be looking to sell, all right? And we can get away with the tight stop loss right behind consolidation, or we can place that stop loss above the previous high, right? Like we did here, okay, just to survive any potential pullback or sweep of this high, all right? So right now we're just waiting to, evaluate it just a little bit more, all right? Things could start to move because the markets are open and the New York session is here, all right? So looking for sells on like odd dollar, pound dollar, euro dollar, New Zealand dollar, etc. All right. And odd dollar looks the best. Now New Zealand dollar looks really good as well. Guys, textbook stuff. Okay. We broke the low here, broke this low. We broke it right here. We made the new low. We started our pullback into a key supply area, and now the bears have shown up. So guys, I'm going to be taking New Zealand dollar and odd dollar right now for the sell, all right? So simply hitting sell here. This is 100,000 units, which equivalates to a standard lot, so 1.00, right? And placing my take profit at the swing low, all right? And my stop loss above the supply area, right? So I'm risking 32 pips to make 100 pips, guys. That's giving me a risk to reward of almost 1 to 3. I'm risking $1 to make $3. I'm risking, $1,000 to make $3,000. That's what that is, all right? So in the sell on pound New Zealand, and we're in profit already, all right? Just a little bit. So now we're going to go back to odd dollar, all right? And we're also going to sell odd dollar. Right, so our position will be here now, all right? And again, there's not a lot of overthinking in this particular trade, guys, okay? A lot of newbies, right? And shout out to all the newbies who joined, right? But a lot of newbies would, overthink a lot because there's nothing that they really truly understand about how the market moves, right? The cycle, the structure, none of it, right? They don't get it, so they don't get it. Get it? You know what I'm saying? So trying to help you guys, get to it and understand how to identify when the market is ready for you to sell it or buy it, and you do it without hesitation, but you also do it with confirmation, right? Things that are telling you that you should be buying or selling, all right? And that's what makes all the difference, all right? I really break it down. Okay, so odd dollar, I will throw this play in the chat. Again, guys, take at your own risk, but I do love the setups, all right? So here's odd dollar. This is sell now. Okay, your entry price is going to be 0.65502. Okay, stop loss will be 0.65731. All right, and that is for 22 pips. Okay, very nice risk to reward, and your take profit will be 0.64192. All right, and this is for 131 pips for odd dollar. All right, guys, please give me thumbs up. All right, like and subscribe. I would really appreciate the love. All right, over to New Zealand dollar. All right, and here is the play. entry is going to be 0.58994. Stop loss is going to be 0.59321. All right, and that is for 32 pips. All right, take profit. It's going to be 0.57986. All right, and that is for 100 pips even. All right, guys, we've gotten into 2 plays this morning in just about less than 10 minutes. All right, each one of these 2 plays are giving us over or at least 100 pips. All right, guys, so if anybody is able to take out a standard lot on any one of these trades, guys, you're looking at $2,000. Okay, and this could happen, in 15 minutes, right? It can happen in 15 hours, right? But nonetheless, you've given yourself an opportunity to make some money in the Forex market. All right. You confirm what I've been watching develop these last 2 weeks. Great content, fam. Nick, thank you. Appreciate that, my brother. All right. I am here to help you guys win. All right. And confirm what you've been seeing for yourself. So, again, if you want to, really have that solid foundation, all right, to where you don't need anyone or anything to trade and understand what's going on, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, rock with me, all right? Forexwithbain.com. Click the link to get in the Discord, and you'll see some amazing things, all right? But there it is, Forex with Bain. Check me out. But again, appreciate you tapping in this morning. That means a lot, bro. So thank you. All right. And again, if you're just getting in here, then don't forget about, you may not know that I'm looking at SPY for the sell. All right. And I'm also in US 30 for the sell. And these are beautiful right now. US 30 is the one that's going to get you paid the most. All right. And we have a nice sell opportunity right here. All right. It is lovely. It is great. It is wonderful, beautiful, everything else. All right. But this is definitely one that is going to give us 1,000 points. All right. 1,000-point drop. Again, I don't know if anybody in here has already caught 1,000 points on US 30, NAS, or SPY, which is really hard on SPY. But if you haven't, congratulations. All right. This holiday is your lucky day, right? And this is something that happens pretty frequently, right? When you understand what you need to understand. Nate, what's good, bro? Appreciate you dropping in. All right. One of my veterans, ladies and gents. All right. So if you got some questions, feel free to throw it his way. He will definitely guide you in the right direction. All right. But yeah, appreciate you tapping in this morning, bro. And we got into, US 30, obviously, and SPY, as well. So that was NAS, but here's SPY, all right? Guys, any one of you can Google right now a rising wedge and see what that chart pattern represents, okay? And I'll tell you, right, it represents bearish reversal, okay? On SPY, we rose pretty significantly. But as we started to rise, we created that channel, right? Or that wedge, sorry. And then we broke out of that, retested the area that we broke, and now we're heading to the downside. So guys, SPY has a great setup for a sell, and I don't want you guys to miss out on it, all right? And again, US 30. Like, I like NAS for the sell as well. I mean, obviously we got in it, and we, this was from Friday that we hopped in, but so far it's been like consolidating in the middle, right? Doesn't mean it's not going to continue dropping. It's just that maybe there's a possibility it wants to fill the supply area and then drop from there, all right? But overall, the play is still picture perfect. All right. So again, we also sold dollar and New Zealand dollar. Okay. And in case you guys don't know, New Zealand dollar, all right, is the one that costs the less, right? It costs, so to get into a trade here, let's say it costs $10, and then this one costs 15, and this one costs 20. This one will cost like $5, right? It's not the exact prices, right? And I am over exaggerating that to just illustrate my point. But what I'm getting at is that you get more bang for your buck trading New Zealand dollar because it gives you the same amount of pips as these other pairs, but it costs less to enter into this particular pair. All right. So if you're debating whether or not you should take the odd dollar or the New Zealand dollar based on how much it costs to get into these trades, right? Just know that if you choose New Zealand dollar, you're going to be getting in, or it's going to cost you less to get into it, but you're still going to make, good amount of pips. All right. So just know that and, do what you feel. All right. So let's look at what we have on dollar CAD. Oh my goodness. This is a perfect buying opportunity. You guys can see my markup a little previously, just showing that I wanted to get price to break above this particular point because that will give us our change of character to confirm that price is starting to rise again, because on dollar CAD it's been falling, all right? And as it's been falling, right, it stopped, right, at the same previous low from where it originally took off, breaking highs, right, with, plenty of momentum, if you will, all right? So we're expecting the same thing to happen here, right? But we just need what we call a change of character, okay? Some of you may have heard it, that term. Some of you may have not, right? But all it really means in a nutshell is that we're seeing that price is giving us um, a change in the structure that is that it was in, and then where it's potentially going to go. So meaning it's going to change from downtrend structure to uptrend structure, or vice versa. It's going to change from uptrend structure to downtrend structure, right? And that's what we look for. But so far, we have not gotten that change of character to break above this high here, okay? So because of that, we are still bearish on the dollar CAD, all right? The structure is still making lower lows, lower highs, right? This is all equal. So then we drop again, breaking this low, and then we're making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This can still be a lower high. Even if we get all the way up to here, it'll still be a lower high, which again will still be bearish. So if it doesn't break above it, we can reject this area and continue falling. That's what that tells you. So again, guys, when y'all know simple things like this, it makes it easier to trade because you have things on the chart that are giving you confirmations to buy or sell. Can you imagine, you know, having, somebody like Nancy Pelosi or something, call you and tell you which stock to buy right before it takes off? Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like having her on your charts, all right? When price gets above this particular area, it's like, okay, she's saying, yeah, go ahead, Bain, you can buy it now, right? It's ready to go. Well, thank you, Nancy. I really appreciate that. You're so kind, right? That's what this does for you guys, all right? So again, the more you can understand, these concepts, guys, it'll just change everything about your trading, and you'll finally be like, man, I really understand, right? And I'm really making money from it as well, which is, an important part, but just again, not as important as understanding it, all right? Because you cannot make the money if you don't understand it, all right? But nice morning, Star. Ghost, you see how that works? We talk about it in class and it shows up live the very next day, right? So a nice morning star developing right here. And we have 28 minutes left on this 2-hour chart for this candle to close. But if it closes in the next 28 minutes as this morning star, guys, this is a confirmation to buy, all right? Or at least this is a signal, right? Rather, to buy it, right? The confirmation would come when price breaks above this change of character. But if we wait for that, right, we're missing out on about 30 pips or so, right, above that particular high. So, this is, where it begins to get into making an executive decision, right? And you got to think about, man, if you're buying from this price point, is this a good idea or not? Well, one, you're buying from a low, so that is a good idea. All right. Two, you're buying with a chart or a candlestick pattern that represents a bullish reversal. So that is also a good indication, right? And then three, it would pretty much be that the dollar, right, the index, all right, is also bullish. Okay, so you're adding a bit of the correlation confirmation that there's a chance of dollar CAD rising. All right, so we don't do this blindly, guys. All right, we don't, go off of what we feel, right, and what somebody throws out there, right. We know exactly why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, and again, if you want to know how to have that knowing, okay, where you're confident and you're not having your emotions on a roller coaster 24/7. All right, rock with me. All right, forexbain.com. Again, click the link in on the site for the Discord and just get in the mix. All right, I promise you, things will change. Okay, again, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Toya, what's good? All right, in the building. I hope today is a great day for you. I know, you know, uh, the clock don't stop, you know. Even on the holidays, maybe it gets even more crunked up, but, hope you are good out there, taking care of everybody, all right? Shout out to all the nurses and doctors and medical students, right? Do appreciate you guys. Big time. Takes big hearts to do what you do, all right? And guys definitely need your flowers, all right? But yeah, for anybody who's just showing up, we sold a dollar, all right? So we're in a sell on dollar in New Zealand dollar, all right? Here's the odd dollar play, and again, this is forming another evening star, the same way we have an evening star on US 30, all right? So if you look here, all right, there is, wait, was it US 30 or was it SPY? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it was US 30, all right? So again, just wondering if you guys can see this pretty good, right? There's that evening star right in this particular area, okay? So just again, it is tattletailing when you see it once and then you see it twice and then you see it 3 times. You start to understand what it's going to do and what's the possibilities of it doing just that. All right, guys, it's not just emotional, okay? Well, it's really never emotional with me, but I'm just letting you guys know that there's data, all right? There's concrete evidence, all right? Right? Men lie, women lie, numbers do not, guys, okay? And you guys will see, right? Losses come with everything, regardless of what it is, all right? Doesn't necessarily need to be trading, but, if you're able to accept the fact that, that's going to be a part of it, then you're going to do really good, all right? And you're going to be, you know, further than you think, right? Because most of the people who don't succeed in this are the ones who just cannot control their emotions when they take a loss, right? They messing up everything. They quit instantly, right? The list goes on and on. But those people aren't suitable for trading, right? This isn't for everyone, right? This is for the rough and tough. So if you're here, right, I just want to let you know, right, you stronger than most, okay? And you were built for this, okay? So please understand, like y'all need to put up your hand, okay? And you know, just shout yourself out, all right? But shout out to my traders, okay? Because it's not easy, but we make it look like it, all right? So dollar CAD is, that play that I would like to get into next. It looks better than dollar CHF, and it looks better than dollar JPY. Now, dollar JPY does look really good in terms of pips, right? We're aiming for 375, but I'm just saying, chart-wise, this looks a lot more cleaner than US 30 does. You guys can see a lot of consolidation here, right? Not making up its mind when it was supposed to take off after it broke right here, giving us confirmation of the change to go up, and then it swept this liquidity right here. This bad boy was supposed to get all the way back to supply, but it didn't do that. It came back in, and then it played around some more. So it's not ideal, right, with all that playing around, but it is still, holding its ground to where I can still see it taking off to the upside. And because I expect the JPY to be bearish and the dollar to be bullish, well, then it just makes sense to buy the dollar JPY, right? All bars intended, okay? But dollar CAD, guys, is where I really would like to see what we can get, all right? But let's see. All right, so there is our session indicator in the back. And all I'm really doing, guys, is taking this background area and marking out the high and the low that price has gotten to in that Asian session, in that time frame, all right, which is about like 5 in the afternoon to like 3 in the morning, all right, Eastern time, okay? And so I'll get rid of this. This was marking the morning star. Okay, we'll get full screen. All right, and basically I'm just reading this structure, guys, okay? Something that most newbies, if not all of them, are not able to do. They have no clue what this is, what this even is, okay? But looking at the Asian session, seeing that price did nothing but consolidate. We came out of the Asian session, right, out of this, light blue shaded area into this dark blue shaded area, which is the New York session. I'm sorry, the London session, right? And during that London session, right, out of 3 a.m., we took out the high of the Asian session. So typically how this works, guys, is that if you take out the high or the low when you come out of the Asian session, then the opposite section is going to be targeted next, all right? So meaning that since it took out the highest point of this consolidation here, then it's going to seek to take out the lowest point of the consolidation here, okay? And if that is true, okay, then how you take advantage of that, right? Listen to me carefully, is understanding what the overall trend is on the higher time frame. Okay, so that is critical, right, guys, for you to understand if this will be a great buying or selling opportunity for you. In this case, this is the dollar CAD, right? And if you guys remember, I'll take you back, right? We'll go to the 4-hour, the higher time frame, okay? And looking at this, being able to read price action and market structure, we were in a uptrend. This was a run, this was a pullback, this was a run, this is now the pullback. So if you understand market structure, guys, pretty simple. Run, pullback, run, pullback, run, right? This gives you a uptrend, right? You have a low, you have a high, you have a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, and a higher high. Guys, if you understand that this is uptrend market structure and you're getting just that on the chart, run, pullback, run, pullback. You know what's expected next is the run. You see that? Look at how that works, guys. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? And I know somebody's like, oh yeah, easy for you. All right, you know what I'm saying? You've been doing this. You can spot it. No, you can do it too. All right. Don't give me that. All right. All it takes is, a little bit of practice. And before you know it, guys, you'll be reading market structure like a pro, understanding what phase of the market structure you're in, and knowing which phase to expect next. Therefore, you can try to take advantage of it, right? It is very, very simple, okay? And I'm here to break it down, all right? Hit that like and subscribe button for me, all right? So this is what we're getting, right? Just a great opportunity to buy, from the low, right, on dollar CAD, because it's created its pullback, right? This is the pullback phase, right? So we're expecting the run. And if we're expecting the run, then we want to be getting in where price is at its lowest, right? And that's where it is now. So coming back to that 15-minute time frame, so I can see this Asian session. Okay, you guys took out the high, all right? So you're supposed to go and take out the low, all right? And then you're supposed to rise, right? But right now you can see it took out the high. It came down and it met basically this level of demand, all right? So on every time frame that you go to, guys, you still have market structure. And this is what most people forget, right? You still have to read the structure the same way on this lower time frame, the same way you read it on the higher time frame, but you're just trying to get it to match up, okay? So reading just this little bit of market structure here, I can clearly see that we broke above, right, this high. Or we can kind of make it, we'll do it right here, right? We just broke this high, okay? So we broke that high, but what caused us to break above this high? Or we can even look at this high, just if it makes more sense, for you guys to see it, from just that little tiny move. But still, we broke both, all right? But this one looks more structured, all right, to mark up. So here, we broke above that, which means we created demand right at this area, okay? And this is also where you guys will, learn about the difference between demand and support. Well, pretty simple. Demand is when you have an area, right, where price has came from that has broken a previous high to the left. That's it, right? So where would that demand area be? It'll be the last bear candle before the bullish move up. It's that simple, guys. All right. Support is when it does not break above this a previous high to the left. Do you understand? So if price did this, all right, check me out. If price pushed up, got to this purple line, and then came back down, and then pushed back up, and came back down, pushed back up, came back down. Now you have a support area. You have a floor in which price has been standing on and not getting below. Okay, there's a difference. All right, and when you understand that difference, oh boy, okay. So again, simple things, guys, but you gotta tap in, and then you gotta really want it, right? You gotta show up. You can't just expect to win, $1 million right out the gate, right? Things like that. It's a mind state, right? The best traders or the good traders are the ones who have their mind together, okay? All right, but again, because of this demand, that's what it looks like we tapped into, and now it looks like we're getting ready to go and break above, you know, this high that we made after breaking out of this high from the, consolidation. But, we need to be patient because we have not gotten that yet. All right. And that would be just a break, right? Um, what, what we need to still be thinking about is below this consolidation area, right? The liquidity that sits behind here has not been swept yet. All right. And then, you guys will learn about equal lows. Okay. And you'll also learn about, liquidity, right? That sits, you know, behind certain places. All right. And liquidity is just money, guys. You see the dollar sign. All right. That's all it really means. They got a lot of terms in trading, that sound like encyclopedia words, but they're very, very simple in what they actually mean. All right. So I know for a lot of people, liquidity, probably took them for a spin, right? Well, what the hell is that, right? Some people knew, some people didn't, right? But you want to have, when you're trying to trade, you need to be able to have things make sense, right? And be broken down in layman's terms and not given to you in encyclopedia words. Oh, the Fibonacci of the percentage of the, you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean? You don't need it to be complicated. All right. You're already trying to figure out the charts. Now you got to figure out what the word means too. So yeah, you're in for more than you probably bargained for, right? And that's why people hang it up. All right. But with me, it's a different story. So it just is what it is. All right. But guys, seeing support here or equal lows here, that's money. Seeing the low of the Asian session, that's money to be collected. So what I would like to see is for price to come down, sweep this liquidity, probably tap into sweeping this liquidity, and then give me some kind of bullish movement up. If I get this, guys, then I'll be extremely happy to buy at this price point because it is lower than where this price point currently is. All right. And it has also completed what we call the manipulation. All right. To where it collected, it did stop hunts. It was hunting people's stop losses, right? Took them out, took their money, right? Even took the money of people who bought from these areas and placed their stop loss right behind this area. It took them out, took their money, and it's using their money to fuel their buying position. So it's like right now, if I said, hey, Nick, give me $100 so I can get into dollar CAD, right? You'd be like, man, I ain't giving you 100. You know what I'm saying? But, that's the equivalent of it. You know what I mean? It's taking others people's money to trade with. All right. That's what they do. And when you guys understand that, you become a part of that. Do you understand? That's why I will be happy to buy it at this particular price point because I understand what's really going on, all right, behind the scenes. Okay. I'm not just calling out trades, guys, right? Just know that. Okay. So once you know that, then you start to trade with a bit more confidence because you know that you're getting in with the banks. All right. If you can't beat them, join them. Right. Okay. I heard somebody say, "Nah, blow them up." All right. So that's basically what we're doing, guys. We're getting with the banks to you know ride the wave of all the heavy orders they're going to be placing using OPP, or not other people's property, but other people's money, all right, to drive it up on top of the endless amount of money that they can, print out of thin air to put a position on and move the market, all right? So just wanted to give you guys, some education here, right, on this particular pair with dollar CAD so you can see, what's some of the ways we actually analyze these charts to get into trades, right? To make money in the market, all right? So again, if you got any questions about any of that, if you're around for the whole explanation, then let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. But just know for right now, this is looking like a great buying opportunity. I just would like to buy it a little lower and, let it, you know, get me in at that, discounted price. But it may not come down, right? It may just take off. So I may want to just buy it now, right? High, but just covering myself for all that potentiality that I told you guys it could do, right? With sweeping liquidity here and sweeping liquidity here. If my stop loss is behind all of that, well, then I'm good, right? I just need to make sure my TP, all right, my take profit is worth it. And simply the way you do that, ladies and gents, is you make sure that you have at least a 1 to 2 risk to reward. All right. And boom, there it is. Right. So I'm risking $1 to make $2. Right. And that's it. But guys, this looks really, really good. This is 31 pips. Okay. Now, there's two ways that we can go about this. We can buy it right now, again, and have a 32 pip stop loss with the 1 or 2 risk to reward. Really, we're going to aim for this swing high over here. Again, once again, these are equal highs, right? Equal levels, and that's where your resistance comes in. Okay, sliding that over. That's what that looks like, right? Again, the charts tell you everything. You just got to know how to read it. It's telling you that, hey, if you want to buy, price most likely is going to get to this point before it drops, because that's what it did in the past, or it'll get up to this point, right, and drop because of what it did in the past. It's that's it. Right? Doesn't really get more complicated than that, guys. All right, but if you don't know that, then you don't know. All right, so hopefully today you know. All right, and you want to know more, right, so that you can really, really get it, right? But this is the first option, buying it now with a 32 pip stop, or we can place a buy limit order at the low of the Asian session, right? Anticipating that sweep, right? And then that will give you a risk of 1 to 10. Guys, risking $1,000 to make $10,000 if you're taking out a standard lot, right? That is ridiculous, right? Well, it's just what it is, okay? 12 pip stop loss, 126 pip take profit. Ridiculous, guys. All right, so I will set the buy limit here, right, and give you guys that play. But I do think it's just going to take off. All right, so even though I'm setting the buy limit, I'm still going to buy dollar CAD because it looks too good not to. Okay, so just understand that. All right, the buy limit order is to get you guys in at a discounted price, right, with a very tight stop loss and a great risk to reward. But there's a possibility that this may not happen. So this order doesn't get activated and you're not in this trade whatsoever. You're just sitting on the sideline watching it take off, right? And for that reason, that's why I'm going to do a buy order right now, all right, where price is. And I'm just simply going to place my stop loss in the same exact spot as my buy limit order. All right, so again, I hope that makes sense. And please, ask questions if you need to regarding that. All right, regarding that pending order, a lot of people don't know how to properly use pending orders. They don't even know that they exist. Okay, they just see a buy button or a sell button, and they think that's all there is to it. All right, but there is more. All right, so I'm going to give you guys the buy limit order first. All right, and then if you want to, just have the information for the market order that we have, then let me know and I will give you those numbers. All right, but this is dollar CAD. Okay, this is a this is a buy limit order. All right, it is a pending order. Okay, and our entry is 1.37336. Okay, our stop loss is 1.37203, and that is for 13 pips. Just ridiculous. All right, take profit is 1.38594, and that is 425 pips. Okay, guys, there's the pending order on dollar CAD. All right, here is the market order. So everything is the same, right? It's just the entry is different. All right, so the dollar CAD market entry is 1.37524. All right, so again, both of those are in there. Guys, please like and subscribe. Appreciate the love. And tell a friend to tell a friend. All right, get somebody on in here that you know has been wanting to trade, learn Forex, right? But they're just too scared, right? They keep giving you excuses. I haven't found anyone who can explain this to me. It's still Greek. It's like, well, check this guy out. All right, I think he might be able to help you. Okay, but yeah, definitely let somebody know. All right, but thank you guys for that. All right, so again, just recapping because we are at the top of the hour. All right, but we got into US 30 for the sell because of the evening star, because of the break of the trend line, because of the change of character, because of the liquidity sitting behind this low, sitting at this demand area, right? There's plenty of reasons why we got into the sell, and therefore we're in profit, and we're probably going to end up catching 1,000 points this week. All right, there's news tomorrow, and I will be live again tomorrow, but it will be at 9:45 a.m. and not 8 a.m. Eastern Time, because news is at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We have PMI news for the dollar, and that should get things moving and grooving, all right, to where some of these trades that we've taken today, they may not, they may not move significantly because there's news tomorrow coming out that impacts, the pairs that we've got into, the trades that we got into. But just again, a recap, we're in a sell on US 30, and we are also in a sell on SPY, all right? And it's mainly because of the chart patterns that we have. And then again, just price action and market structure letting us know that it is ready to fall, okay? Yes, price can still go up and, do all of that, but we can't stay, focused on, focused on, possibly losing the trade, right? Because if you do that, guys, you'll never win. It's just what it is, right? You're constantly worried about losing, therefore you won't win, right? That's a real thing, okay? In case you guys didn't know, right? So you just have to take your chances, regardless of what the possibilities are, right? But if there's more that's telling you to sell than buy, that's the side you want to be on, right? And if it's something telling you to buy more than sell, then of course that's the side that you want to be on, okay? Just make it make sense first, and then it'll make dollars. All right, that's how that goes. So sell on US 30, sell on SPY, and then we go over to our majors, right? And we have odd dollar that we're in a sell on, all right, and it's looking like it's getting ready to get down, right? My team is in euro dollar and pound dollar, right? But for these, they are good to trade right now, right? If anybody would like to get in those, right? It's just, I've already called this out to the team. So these were just two that we were already in, all right? And you can see pound dollar, like we're up 38 pips. We sold a little higher than where price is now, but I'm still expecting that drop to be, throughout this day, but definitely sometime tomorrow, especially if PMI news comes out good for the dollar. We're going to see plenty of pips on these major pairs, guys. All right, but we sold odd dollar today. All right, and you can see that's about to be in profit. And then we sold New Zealand dollar as well this morning. Right, and we're aiming for 100 pips on this, 123 pips on 130 pips rather on odd dollar. And then we also got into dollar CAD, right, for a market sell with a buy limit order just in case price dips down to sweep liquidity that I explained to you guys from the Asian session, right, on the 15-minute time frame, right, and then it'll take off to the upside. So those are the plays, all right, 5 plays, right. You're bound to get paid on one of them. All right, we're now in profit. We just crept in profit on dollar CAD. Let's just review again. Dollar, almost there. We're about to see green. Okay, and then New Zealand dollar, we see green. All right, so we are in profit, guys. And I really hope you guys took advantage. At least put the trade in your demo, right? It doesn't have to be in your live account, but definitely, demo trade with me for the rest of the week and see the possibilities. Okay, make sure you take out a standard lot, in your demo account, so you can really see, what you could have gotten in a 2-day, period, or even a week. Right, a week is good enough for you to really see. Oh man, I started with $1,000 in that demo account, and now I have five. Right, it's going to speak volumes to what you can really do in your own personal account. All right. So that sounds good. All right. Might want to come check me out. All right. ForexWithBain.com. Guys, I'll leave the floor open for any questions, any comments, any concerns. Let me know. All right. Going once, going twice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out. All right. Again, I will be back tomorrow, Tuesday at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. We will be trading PMI news for the dollar. And during that time, I believe we will make some good money as the markets, or our pairs are prime for their setups. It's just that the volatility is waiting on that economic news. All right, so we probably got in early today, or we'll be able to take advantage of it before news, right? Or we'll already be on the side that price wants to go into before news comes out. But just know that we probably won't see the movement, go fast until the news comes out. All right, so that's just it. But if there's no questions, comments, or concerns, I would like for you guys to enjoy your day. All right, and shout out to everybody who's celebrating. But have a good time, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, have a great morning. Peace.